One of the big differences that all the British people that I speak to, they all say the same thing, which is in America, everyone wants to get behind you.
It was supposed to be just another keynote, another billionaire summit, another stage where someone says future 30 times and walks off to polite applause. But then Prince Harry stepped out. No one expected him. No formal intro, no fanfare, just the Duke of Sussex walking into the lion's den of Silicon Valley. And from the moment he opened his mouth, you could feel it. Something was off. He talked about trauma, about service, about what it means to be a father, a man, a citizen of the world. But the problem wasn't the content. It was the context, because in this room, people didn't come for philosophy. They came for disruption, deals, not a prince with a message about mindfulness. And then it happened. Nothing, not a cough, not even the sympathy shuffle of chairs, just silence. At first you might think it was a mistake, a missed applause cue, a tech glitch, something. But no, this was intentional, a silence sharper than any boo. And in that moment, the prince who left the palace for freedom found out what rejection really feels like. Because this wasn't a royal gala. This was a battlefield. And the rules here, simple, build, scale, exit. Not heal, reflect, inspire. You could feel the crowd recalibrating. They weren't watching a speech. They were watching a disconnect in real time. And then the silence did what the speech couldn't. It said something. It said, "You don't belong here." Backstage, it was chaos disguised as calm. Harry's team, frozen, phones out. One aide whispering into a headset, "Did something break?" Another frantically refreshing X. Why no applause? It wasn't the lack of claps that hurt. It was the meaning behind it. And then came the echo chamber.
Which of the plethora of issues consuming the world today that I'm going to talk about? Well, I don't have that long, and I know that Mark wants to quiz me after, so I'll keep this important topic brief.
TikTok reenactments. YouTube reaction breakdowns. Commentators analyzing Harry's blinking pattern like it was national security footage. See this micro movement? That's ego collapse. Notice the left eye twitch, classic post-stage trauma. I rate that smile a 3.2, strained, barely functional. And Meghan? Nowhere near that stage. Not in the crowd. Not in the post-event photo dump. Not even in the same zip code. Was it strategic distance? A quiet protest? Or just a very convenient hair appointment? Whatever the reason, her silence became its own storyline. And the questions started circling like vultures. Was it tone deaf? Was it misread room energy? Did he think he was still in a Netflix doc? Was this a therapy session with VC badges? This audience wasn't built for confessionals. They came for innovation. And Harry? He brought reflection. As he stepped into the wings, the silence followed. Not just awkward and defining, because when a room full of the most powerful people in tech decides to say nothing, that silence is strategic. He waited for something, anything. A cough, a polite nod. Maybe that one guy in the front to start the chain reaction clap. But all he got was air. And make no mistake, this wasn't a glitch. No missed cue, no teleprompter freeze. This was calculated stillness. Was that a TED Talk or a therapy session? Did I just get emotionally guilt-tripped by a royal? Why is he here? Because here's the brutal truth. Upfront Summit is not Royal Court Theater. It's Shark Tank and Patagonia vests, where value prop beats vulnerability. And if you don't deliver alpha, you get ghosted. And the ghosting was global. WTF was that? Harry's TED Talk just gave me secondhand embarrassment. No claps, like actually zero. One creator called it the royal ghosting. Another dubbed it when you mistake Davos for group therapy. The internet did what it does best. It chewed, it memed, it moved on, frame by frame, blink by blink. They turned Harry's micro movements into macro content. That swallow, that's ego collapsing. The eye dart, realizing he lost the room.
Talk about something that I believe will resonate with all of you as leaders, as creators, builders, and change makers.
The smile faked 4.2 out of 10. And while the crowd dispersed like it never happened, Harry's team was spiraling. Emails, panic calls, damage control mode. Can we scrub the ending from the stream? Who cleared this version of the script? Why did he go off book? Some blamed the room. Some blamed the timing. Some blamed Meghan for not being there. Because while Harry bombed in silence, she shined elsewhere. Let's rewind. Harry's never struggled for stage time, from Oprah to Spotify to global spotlights. He's been seen, he's been heard. But this time, he wasn't received because this wasn't curated for compassion. This was Silicon Valley, where attention spans are short and expectations are brutal. And into that arena walked Harry, armed with anecdotes, no KPIs, no frameworks, just feelings. In startup speak, it was all pitch deck, no product. From the outside, it looked peaceful. Blue skies, gated bliss, a $14 million fortress of calm. But behind those walls, something broke. Sources close to the Sussex circle say it wasn't awkwardness. It was humiliation. And when Harry got home, he lost it. Not just about the silence, but the memes, the headlines, the cold, calculated mockery from a world he thought would understand him. Harry didn't just lose the room. He lost the plot.
The way that I answer the question of how we invest in our shared future is different now living in the US to when I was living in the UK.
And true to form, he looked outward first. Speechwriter, thrown under the bus. The aide who booked the gig, ghosted. Even Meghan, because nothing says unity like icy silence. In a multi-million-dollar mansion. But zoom out, this wasn't just a bad speech. It was a symptom of a deeper identity crisis that's been brewing since Megxit. He traded crowns for causes, tradition for truth. But somewhere along the way, the signal got lost. And while Harry was spiraling, Meghan was pivoting. She's playing chess. He's flipping the board. Let's talk data. Public favorability? Down. Engagement on his causes? Flatlined. Media narrative? 70% negative and climbing. And back in the UK, the Windsors watched with quiet satisfaction. For all his critiques of the Crown stayed silent. And that silence said everything. Because the most dangerous thing about falling out of relevance is realizing no one's coming to save you. Not your audience, not your wife, not even your brand. Silence can be strategic, but in Montecito, it was panic with a press kit. Within 48 hours of the summit disaster, Harry activated a crisis team.
Focusing on one core issue at its source, ultimately to solve the hundreds that stem from it.
Not just any team. The kind you call when your billion-dollar startup gets subpoenaed. And step one of this royal rehab tour, the rebrand, gone were the speeches about healing. Enter Harry 2.0, now optimized for LinkedIn. With 40% more impact metrics and 80% less emotion, it gave startup founder. It gave seed round pending. It gave no soul. The public response? Let's call it restrained horror. He's pitching trauma as a service. This looks like a WeWork deck with royal subtitles. Harry log off. Then came the content blitz. A new video, low on pain, high on brand speak, sprinkled with phrases like bridge building and unlocking shared humanity. Spoiler, the audience still wasn't clapping. But wait, it gets better.
And that as bosses, you want to offer world-class coaching to your employees. Now, the people in this room represent a sizable piece of the industry dedicated to being the first and follow-on capital.
A leaked document from the PR firm laid it all out. Fireside chats, school visits, a media-friendly new book, maybe a baby kiss or two, because nothing screams relatability like a prince rebranding for product market fit. And Meghan? Nowhere near it. She wasn't included. She wasn't excluded. She was strategically invisible. And the firm? Silent, smiling, unbothered. Because why attack when the brand is self-destructing? A prince without a platform. A message without an audience? A rebrand? No one asked for. For years he ran from it. The palace, the pageantry, the suffocating choreography of being royal. But now, as his California rebrand smolders into silence, he's looking back. Insiders say the call started days after the summit debacle. Not from Harry, and not from Charles, but from the in-between, advisors, fixers, royal middlemen fluent in subtext.
Companies that are designed not just for profit, but for an investment in a better shared future. After all, if we carry on at this rate, even the most profitable companies will exist in a world of smoke.
Shut up. Stop writing. Step back. And maybe, just maybe, we let you in the back door. Because here's the part no one says out loud. Harry never replaced the crown. He just got louder after leaving it. And now that the mic's gone silent, he hears it too. The firm remains. He does not, without the crown, what is Harry? Speaker? Activist? Just famous? That question isn't just PR. It's existential. Because this new audience, they don't clap for your trauma. They click past it. He escaped the palace, but he never found a place. So now, the palace might offer him one. Not a throne, Not a royal tour. A role, something smaller, controlled, brand safe. Think, special envoy, occasional engagements. No drama, no titles, just duty. Because while the royal bench is thinning, Harry still has what they can't manufacture. Relevance, emotion, chaos. But where does she fit in? She doesn't, because the monarchy plays nice in public. But behind closed doors, they still play by old rules, and Meghan broke too many of them. So what does Harry choose? Pride or place? Legacy or loneliness? California or conditional forgiveness? He thought freedom was leaving, but maybe freedom is choosing what to go back to. When the applause fades, when the headlines rot, when the palace stops calling, what's left? For Harry, there's only one thing left to do. He's going live.
Well, look, living here now for 5 years, it feels like home. Santa Barbara feels like home. Brought up both of our kids.
One man, one mic, one last chance to take back the story. You've heard the noise, now hear the truth. The title? Truth and Legacy. It practically begs you to clap. Set to stream in 20+ countries. No editors, no Oprah, no Netflix polish, just raw royal realness. Engineered by a 2 million media team. Don't get it twisted. This isn't vulnerable. It's calculated, every word focus grouped, every pause choreographed, every truth optimized for virality. And Meghan? Gone. No promo, no post, not even a subtle like, this isn't their show anymore. This is Harry's solo act. Speculation explodes. Some expect a healing message, others a final royal burn. But here's the real reason everyone's tuning in. Because this isn't about truth. It's about control. For once, Harry wants to control the silence. The palace spoke for him. The press spoke over him. Now, he's speaking first. And if no one claps, at least they'll hear him scream. But here's the gamble. If it works, he's reborn as the misunderstood prophet.
An Irish pub just down the road in Santa Barbara, and it's they do good bangers and mash.
And I guess
That's sausages and potato.
And I guess there's like this thing you guys call football.
If it flops, he's cemented as the tragic prince who mistook attention for impact. One man, 1 hour, one final mic drop, or one very public silence. One camera. No audience, no teleprompter, just Prince Harry and the silence he's been running from. This is Truth and Legacy. Not a confession, not an apology. A broadcast designed to reclaim control, but teetering on the edge of implosion. For 56 minutes, he spoke not about Meghan, not about the palace, not even about the Upfront Summit. He spoke about himself, childhood trauma, purpose, isolation. It felt less like a royal statement and more like a beautifully lit identity spiral. Until minute 42, when he dropped it, no one clapped, and that hurt, because I didn't go there to be applauded. But I also didn't go there to be humiliated. There it was. The line, the moment, the truth he never dared say out loud. And for a second, the internet paused, the memes stopped, the timeline exhaled. Because whether you love him or loathe him, that moment felt real. I've spent years trying to prove I'm more than a tabloid headline, that I'm more than a title. But maybe I was wrong about what people want from me. Peak viewers, 4.3 million. Viewers who stayed to the end? The response? Mixed.
Years of public service that you've spent. If anyone in this room hasn't read Spare, I highly recommend it because
You're plugging my book right now?
But I'm going to tell you why.
Shameful.
Yeah.
Raw, rehearsed, brave, cringe. Mid, one tweet went viral. Bro did a live podcast to say he's sad people didn't like his TED Talk. I don't need applause anymore. I just want the silence to mean something. And for once, it didn't feel like a performance. It felt like surrender. Not for sympathy, not for clout, just for peace. A raw, necessary redemption. An overpriced therapy session. Harry finally finds his voice, and still no one claps. The world moved on. The palace didn't comment. Meghan didn't repost. The press didn't explode. And maybe that's exactly what he needed. He wanted a mic drop. He got a mirror, and in the end, Truth and Legacy wasn't a comeback. It was a requiem, because this might have been the final word. But one question still remains. What happens to a prince when no one's listening? It began with silence, and now it ends the same way. No press release, no follow-up podcast, no official royal comment, just whispers, In the weeks after Truth and Legacy, Harry vanished. No new posts, no sightings, no mic. He's retreating. Because when your final comeback ends in quiet indifference, there's nothing left to spin. The campaign is over. The audience has logged off. Let's not sugarcoat it. The Sussex media era, it's ending. Podcast? Dead. Docuseries buzz? Gone. Sympathy? Exhausted. Harry didn't run out of content. He ran out of patience. Hours. And Meghan? Already pivoted. A new brand. A new focus. No trace of him. While Harry spiraled live, she moved strategically and quietly. She's not burning bridges. She's just walking past them. But maybe there's one door still open. Sources say the firm has offered a deal. No titles. No red carpets. Just royal obscurity with a bit of dignity. A half-life behind the curtain. It's not a throne. It's a back seat. Because for all his rebellion, Harry never wanted to burn the crown. He just wanted it to love him back. But the monarchy doesn't do love. It does structure. It does silence. So now, the prince who once roared against silence has become its quietest student. He stepped back for freedom. He live-streamed for relevance. But in the end, he walked away with something rarer than applause. Peace. Series finale. Thank you for watching. The silence says everything now.